up and thank the Hudson Union Society for hosting us tonight. While I'm really happy to be here, my senior essay probably won't be quite as excited, so I'm happy that I'll be able to demonstrate that I've done something with my time this evening on the internet. As probably the only person on this stage without... No, you know what? I'm going to continue with the shopping metaphor, actually, that Cyrus initiated. I'm going to apologize because I will be less good at making fun of my opponents than everybody else who's taken the stage tonight, but I will be more earnest in supporting my side of the resolution. You're welcome to laugh at that as much as you might at any jokes that I might have made. I want to separate tonight the claims that are being made on both sides of this debate. And first I want to outline what Walmart has meant to the proposition this evening. Cyrus claims that we've forgotten to put shampoo bottles in our cart when running down the aisle of corporate America. I would argue that Mr. Habib, that the shampoo bottles that we declined to purchase were ones that were not worth purchasing. The two arguments in particular that you harp on are dropping were first, innovations. Your distinguished colleague who spoke second announced that he wasn't quite sure what innovations he was referring to, and so I figured since he hadn't outlined it, I didn't have to come up with them for him. The second argument we've been accused of dropping this evening is that Walmart is good for the environment. I'm not quite sure why using fluorescent light bulbs in your stores is good for the environment when it's corporate policy to leave the lights on all night. These are essential fallacies erected to cover up the value difference in this debate. The proposition tonight is advocating everyday low prices as the ultimate good for American society. They've been watching too many Walmart advertisements. They've told you a story about the single mother who now can buy more groceries because she can save 10% on a stick of celery. But what they don't tell you is that single mother used to make 15% more when she was the owner of the local grocery store and she supplied the groceries to her community. She knew the names of her customers and her children helped her out in the store, and she was guaranteed of an existence after whatever customers came through at a single moment. Yes?
How does this, I mean, didn't I address this when I said, your problem is with corporate America? You're talking straight out of, has anyone seen You've Got Mail? I mean, this could be just as easily a bookstore. I mean, you're just talking about corporations, right? Right? See, I made it a question, right?
Actually, in keeping with the proposition's framework for this evening, we have talked consistently about the actual impacts of Walmart specifically. We've discussed, although they did their best to silence Ms. Homer when she was coming up with the best statistics we had in this debate, we have discussed the consequences of Walmart on the communities that it enters, and I didn't hear the exact numbers, but it involved a lot of poverty, I think. And that's something I know is bad. The liberal arts have educated me well. The proposition tonight has consistently ignored what we've raised as the social consequences of Walmart's everyday low prices, and we in the opposition want to argue that it's better to pay 10% more on a stick of celery for the sake of connections with one's neighbors and a sense of rootedness in one's community, which is removed as increasingly urban centers in the South and in rural America are replaced by big box stores as the centers of social activity and community life. What do we see Walmart as this evening? Ladies and gentlemen, Walmart is not a magical corporation that provides lower prices based on empathy and smarter bookkeeping. The proposition has consistently ignored arguments that there are real costs to the prices that Walmart offers to consumers. They drop prices by taking it out of salaries, economic security, and health benefits for their employees, and by manipulating the political process to shut out competition. Mr. O'Connor's points went largely ignored when he discussed the fact that Walmart has a larger lobbying budget than any of the mom and pop stores that they consistently put out of business. The reason that application for Walmart jobs are 300 to 1 is because those are 299 people who are now unemployed because their former centers of employment have disappeared due to Walmart's political manipulations. I'm representing...
I mean, I'm sorry, are you really trying to tell us that woman that works behind the counter at Walmart used to own her own store? I mean, this is absurd. You're just being absurd now, right?
I guess I fail to recognize... the absurdity in stating that I think that potentially impoverished and rural Americans have the business wherewithal to be entrepreneurs in and of themselves and are not destined to a life of clerkship.
What point of information, if that is the case, being confronted with real competition should not by any means dampen their spirit or innovation, but indeed fan the flames and make the carry forward stronger.
Mr. O'Connor did an excellent job of explaining why Walmart doesn't face actual competition from the stores that it displaces by political manipulation. Now tonight, I'm faced with the dauntless task of representing the views of the Yale Political Union on the subject of Walmart. And I don't know how much you know about the traditions of Yale, but we represent a somewhat broad spectrum of political opinions up here. We, I think, represent the broadest spectrum of opinions. And if you don't like Michael's reasons for opposing the resolution, you have Jack's or Rachel's or mine. The sometime chairman of the Conservative Party opposes Walmart because it reduces human activity to consumption. He brought up the fact that homogeneity across the diverse regions of American federalism has contributed negatively to community life in those areas, and that Walmart has increasingly replaced the centers of social activity in the rural South. The sometime chairman of the Party of the Right, however, opposes Walmart because it is a perversion of the free market. Walmart represents a planned economy in its worst possible form by crushing competition at the political level and treating political control as just one more cost in their corporate business model. It also encourages a culture of lobbying wherein anyone who doesn't have the money to control state legislatures is knocked out of the entrepreneurial system. The sometime chairman of the Party of the Left opposes Walmart because it exploits workers and decimates local economies. I'm sorry that the proposition felt so threatened by her facts that they needed to obscure them by shouting, but I found them rather compelling. And I, as sometime chairman of the Independent Party, impose, in a somewhat typical fashion, Walmart because of all of the reasons, my esteemed colleagues. Walmart represents corporatism in its worst form, central control, homogeneity, cost-cutting accomplished at the cost of human life, health care, and end-of-life care. And it is, ladies and gentlemen, the totalitarianism of our age. Oxonians, Americans, transatlanticists, tear down this Walmart.